Chris, only a couple of hours. You know, this whole trial actually started on Monday. Then the defense rested its case first thing this morning without calling a single witness. And then the jury only took about 2 hours to deliberate. Now, as that guilty verdict was read in the courtroom, Brandon McCall, he didn't really show any kind of reaction. He did not take the stand, and he did not testify during this trial. After that guilty verdict came down a little after 1 p.m., Officer David Sherrard's family walked out of the courthouse along with various members of law enforcement. Now, they understandably didn't want to talk to us on camera this afternoon, but the Richardson Police Department sharing some words on Twitter saying it has been an emotional 2-year journey. Knowing that justice has been served will allow further healing by all of those so deeply impacted by this tragedy. Back in February 2018, Sherrard was one of a handful of officers responding to a shots fired call at the Breckenridge Point Apartments. When they got on scene, they found McCall's roommate outside the apartment with a gunshot wound, and he later died. But fearing that there were other victims inside the apartment, Sherrard led other officers inside, and that's when McCall shot him twice with an AR-15. A firefight erupted, officers used tear gas. McCall finally surrendered and later admitted on body camera video to shooting at police officers. Now, this case is not over. The sentencing phase, now that he's been convicted, begins first thing Monday morning. And Chris and Izzy, just as a reminder, the death penalty is on the table. That's the latest from Collin County. I'm Ariel Placencia.